Since we left shoot around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly Black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California. And now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week.
What Steve Kerr just mentioned just pretty much nailed down what human nature is in the flesh. It's very unfortunate to what happened to those people. There comes down a point where it's like you want to do something about it, right? Because enough is enough. But unfortunately, this will keep happening because our carnal desires of the human flesh, that is, it's just simply evil. And so 2 Timothy chapter 3 says, verse 1, "But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control." Yeah, like that shooting. Brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. And so that's exactly what we're dealing with today.
And the next day, 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 and the next day.
Phone call, Mr. Plankton.
And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
Until you die. This school shooting just proved to us why guns should be illegal. If you really want to take action, well, reduce violence as much as possible. Events like this is what happens when Christianity is not your backbone. You talk about, oh, we need to have guns so we can protect ourselves, yet we got people like that gunman using guns for violence, not for protection.
Me?
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby... Oh my goodness! Squidward!
And if you want to take action, then start by convincing the US government to make guns illegal to avoid situations like this. It might not end the problem, but it reduces the problem. Making guns less accessible means less shootings because they don't have a gun to shoot with. You'll have less people to deal with. And those with a gun license should be the only ones to use it because they understand that with power comes responsibility. So rather than being a right, it becomes a privilege. If having guns is a right, people would be more entitled to do whatever they want with their gun, including violence. The gangs and mafias. But if it's a privilege, which is what I'm proposing, you can hold people accountable for poor behavior by revoking their gun license permanently when the person uses it irresponsibly, similar to how a driver's license works, although I intensified the consequences for gun use. Obviously, if there's less guns, then it would be less gangs and less mafias, right? So again, it might not end the problem, but let's minimize it. Canadians don't have a problem with this rule, so why not the US if you had enough of this?